What's going on, Lawn Care Nation? Cameron here with the Grassmaster Lawn Service straight out of Mowssouri. And today I want to talk to you guys about setting goals. So you own a lawn or landscaping business, right? And you want to take it to the next level. How do you get there? Now that looks different for everybody. I mean, no one company or business is the same. Each person has their own ideas on how they want the business to look like or what goals they want to reach. But the main thing is, man, in order to get there, you have to set some goals. Now, I don't know what you guys are wanting. Maybe it's a new truck, a new trailer, a new mower, a new skid steer. I don't know, new box truck maybe. But, you know, everybody has a different idea of what they want for their business, what they want their business to look like. But the main thing is, you know, a lot of us want all these different things, but how are we going to attain them? How are we going to get there? How are we going to purchase this new equipment, this new vehicle? What is the step? What direction do I need to take in order to get to the end result? And I believe that's where you need to sit down and write some goals out. Don't just think them in your head. Sit down, pen, paper, write them all out, figure out what you want to achieve, and figure out a way to get there. Now, if I'm wanting to travel across town, maybe 30 miles down the road, it's not very hard to figure out how to get there, right? But if I'm wanting to cross country and travel across the whole United States from one coast to the other, I better figure out how to get there before I even leave the house. I better get some directions, some guidance, better get a good map out and figure out the road map and how to get there. And the same thing goes for you and your business. If you're trying to pick up 1 or 2 lawns, it's not that difficult, not that hard to do. But if you're trying to pick up 50, 60, 70 more lawns for the season, you better come up with a plan. You better write it all down, figure it all out. What does that look like? What needs to happen? What needs to take place? What equipment will you have to have? How many employees will you have to have? What needs to be done to pull this off? Over the summer, we had the chance to go from Mowssouri all the way out west to see the Grand Canyon. So we went through Colorado, Arizona. I had no clue how to get there. We had to get the map out, right? So we're checking the map. We're figuring out what direction to take, what roads to take, what turns to make, and figuring everything out step by step, little by little, and eventually if we made the right turns, if we got on the right highways, if we went the right direction, eventually we would end up at our destination. And I think the business part of it is no different. Lawn care, landscaping, it doesn't matter. If you're trying to get from one point to the other, you need some direction, you need some guidance, and you need to figure out what steps to take along the way. Figure out what equipment you need to buy. Figure out what vehicle you need to buy. Maybe it's obtaining more accounts. Maybe it's hiring more employees. Whatever your destination is, figure out the little steps on how to get there. So let's just use a pickup truck, for example. A lot of lawn care landscape guys have to have a truck, right? So right now I have a little half-ton pickup. Eventually I would be glad to get into maybe a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton diesel pickup truck. That way I can pull the dump trailer a little better. I can put a bigger load on there, and I can ultimately do a whole lot more, offer more services, provide more value to my customers, things like that. So my goal would be getting a new pickup truck, a 3/4 ton diesel truck to be exact. So let's say the goal is 3/4 ton diesel truck. Let's say for a used truck, maybe $30,000. Let's just go with that. I know the price can vary depending on what you're going to get, how many miles, the condition, things like that. But let's just say $30,000 is the goal. What does that look like? How am I going to get there? How many lawn care jobs do I need to tackle? How many mowing jobs? How many landscaping jobs? What needs to take place? What needs to be done in order to get that $30,000? Now let's break it down even more. Let's say you want to make that $30,000 in 1 year. You want to have the cash to take up to the dealer, or maybe take to the owner of the pickup truck, and you want to hand them $30,000 cash in order to buy the truck. What needs to be done? You got 12 months to get there. Let's break it down over each month, and let's have a goal of a certain amount of money we need to make each month in order to get to $30,000 by the end of the year, so you can get that pickup truck. So if it takes us 12 months to get to that 30,000, we need about $2,500 a month, and that's on top of the money that we're making now. Because you know, the money that we're making now, we have bills to pay, we have expenses, things like that. Let's say we want to make an additional 30,000 or $2,500 additionally each month in order to obtain that truck and have that cash to go out there and make the purchase. So what is that going to look like? We got a goal now. We want to make $2,500 additional income each month. Now, just like when we made the trip from Mowssouri over to the Grand Canyon, you know, we had so many miles we had to go. Let's say 1,000 miles, right? We got 1,000 miles. We only got 3 days to get there. How many miles you're going to have to go per day? We're going to have to hit at least 300, a little bit more. But, you know, we had to do the 300 miles at least each day if it's going to take us 3 days to get there. So just keep that in mind when you're going after something, you're going after a goal. You know, you want to hit 2,500. What does that look like? If we break it down weekly, how much money do we need to make per week in order to make that happen? And on top of that, we got to break it down even more and figure out what jobs or what services or what can we provide of value to our customers in order to make that $2,500 additionally each and every month. Now, I'm just going to throw out the number $150. Let's say we got to make $150 each day in order to pull this off, make this happen, and at the end of the year, have that $30,000 in cash so we can buy that vehicle. The same thing goes in your lawn care landscape business. If you got an end goal, the truck, break it down so much that you know exactly how much you need to make per day, and maybe you even want to break it down more and find out how much you need to make per hour. Now, once you know those numbers, you have something to work with. You're working towards a goal. You have each step, each direction that you need to take along the way. So instead of saying, well, I need $30,000 at the end of the year, how am I going to do that? Well, I'll pick up a few jobs and just kind of guess and go with it. No, instead, break it down, figure out how much you need to make each day even. Once you do that, you'll see the numbers, you'll see where you're at along the way. Maybe you slack off a little bit this day or this week. You need to pick back up the next week, and that way you can make sure you're on track each week, each month, and ultimately at the end of the year, that'll be your goal, man. You'll have it set, you'll get the truck, and you know, business is good, right? So I just want to encourage you guys to obtain a goal for this year, this season. It's a new season. Now is the time to figure out your goals and make a way to get there. If you're just saying you want a truck, if you're saying you want $30,000, you don't have the roadmap, you don't have the directions, you don't have the guidance, you don't have what it takes to get there. If you break all that down and you dissect it as much as you can, and you figure out how much you need to make per month, and figure out how much you need to make per week and even per day. And if you want to break it down, you can figure out how much you need to make per hour additionally on top of what you're making now in order to obtain that goal. But that's it, guys. I'm Cameron with Grassmaster Lawn Service. I hope this has helped you out a little bit. You guys can work with it on your own terms. And, you know, like I said, everybody has a different goal. Everybody's trying to reach a different destination. But I think you guys probably have something in mind, something that you're looking forward to, something that you're wanting to get to. And in order to do that, in order to obtain that, you have to break it down. Just put it under a microscope and break it down as much as you can. And I guarantee if you do that and if you work towards it, you work hard, you don't stop until you get there, hey, you're going to achieve those goals. It's a matter of, you know, it's a matter of numbers, I like to say. If you can put it on paper, you can figure out the numbers, you can figure out a way to get there. Hey, that's the hardest part. Obtaining the goal, it's not that difficult once you figure out the steps and the direction that you need to go in order to get there. That's just like me. For this year, I had the goal of getting a box truck. I was able to do that, a brand new box truck. I wanted to get the Ferris Z3X. I was able to do that. When fall got around, I wanted to pick up the new dump trailer, and I was able to do that. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't put pen to paper, if I didn't crunch numbers, figure out exactly what I needed to do in order to get there. I would have just been running the business, doing my thing, hoping I made enough, and not really knowing where I was at. But when you really crunch the numbers, put pen to paper, you really figure out a direction, a step, a roadmap in order to get there, I feel like this season has been really, really good for me, just able to accomplish those goals. I've had these goals for a long time. It took me a while to get here, but now that I'm here, I'm hoping that this kind of progresses and snowballs and just moves the business into the direction that we want it to go for the future. So guys, thanks again for watching this video. I appreciate it a lot. Hope you guys have a blessed day, and as always, God provides.